Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm going to go ahead and finish, or keep reading, not finish, but keep reading the Stinky Cheese Man today, and we'll read a few more of the stories. And then in the next video, you'll get to hear the rest of the story. If you didn't hear the first part, check the links down below in the video, and there's a link to the first part of the story, and there'll be a link to the end of the story too. Once upon a time, there was a frog. One day, when he was sitting on his lily pad, he saw a beautiful princess sitting by the pond. He hopped in the water, swam over to her, and poked his head out of the weeds. "Pardon me, oh beautiful princess," he said in his most sad and pathetic voice. "I wonder if you could help me." The princess was about to jump up and run, but she felt sorry for the frog with the sad and pathetic voice, so she asked, "What can I do to help you, little frog?" "Well," said the frog, "I'm not really a frog, but a handsome prince who was turned into a frog by a wicked witch's spell. And the spell can only be broken by the kiss of a beautiful princess." The princess thought about this for a second, then lifted the frog from the pond and kissed him. "I was just kidding," said the frog. He jumped back into the pond, and the princess wiped the frog slime off her lips. The end. Little red running shorts. "Okay, I've got things running smoothly now," said Jack, the narrator. "And this next story is even better than the last three. See, it's about this girl who runs very fast and always wears red running shorts. That's where her name comes from. Get it? So anyway, this girl is running to her granny's house when she meets a wolf. He tricks her into taking the long way while he takes the shortcut. Now, this is the good part, because Red runs so fast that she beats the wolf to Granny's house. He knocks on the door, Red answers it, and guess what she says? 'My, what slow feet you have!' And that's it. The end. Is that great or what? So sit back, relax, and enjoy Little Red Running Shorts. And now, like I already said, Little Red Running Shorts. "You just told the whole story," says Little Red Running Shorts. "We're not going to tell it again." "You can't say that," said Jack. "You have to start with Once Upon a Time." "No way," says the wolf. "You blew it." "But you guys are next. Look at the title at the top of the page. Little Red Running Shorts. That's you. Let's go, Wolf. We're out of here." "Wait, you can't do this. Your story is supposed to be 3 pages long." "What do I do when we turn the page?" So I want you guys to guess. What do you think might be on the next page? Do you think there's a character we could see again? Think if there's any characters that have been popping in that we think you might see again. I mean, we've seen Jack throughout the whole book. Okay, let's find out what's on the next page. "I planted the wheat, I watered the wheat, I harvested the wheat. Now do I get to tell my story?" said the little red hen. "Say, what's going on here? Why is that page blank? Is that my page? Where is that lazy dog? Where is that lazy cat? Where is that lazy mouse? How do they expect me to tell the whole story by myself? Where is that lazy narrator? Where is that lazy illustrator? Where is that lazy author?" Jack's bean problem. Forget that hen. Now it's time for the best story in the whole book, my story, because once upon a time I traded our last cow for 3 magic beans, and hey, Giant, what are you doing down here? You're wrecking my whole story. "I don't like that story," said the giant. "You always trick me." "That's the best part," said Jack. "Fee, fi, fum, furry, I have made my own story." Great rhyme, Giant, and I'm sure your story is just as good, but there's no room for it. So why don't you climb back up the beanstalk? I'll be up in a few minutes to steal your gold and your singing harp. "I'll grind your bones to make my bread." I knew you'd understand. And there's another little thing that's been bugging me. Could you please stop talking in uppercase letters? It really messes up the page. "I will read my story now," said the giant. And he did. What do you think the giant's story is going to be like? Do you see what he's doing in this picture over here? What he has in his hands? He has some scissors and a book up here, and we can see it looks like he's been cutting some pages, doesn't it? Giant story. The end of the evil stepmother said, "I'll huff and snuff and give you 3 wishes." The beast changed into 7 dwarfs, happily ever after, for a spell had been cast by a wicked witch once upon a time. "That's your story?" said Jack. "You've got to be kidding. That's not a fairly stupid tale. That's an incredibly stupid tale. That's an unbelievably stupid tale. That is the most stupid tale I ever." Ah! The giant grabbed Jack and dragged him to the next page. Jack's story. Once upon a time there was a giant. The giant squeezed Jack and said, "Tell me a better story, or I will grind your bones to make my bread. And when your story is finished, I will grind your bones to make my bread anyhow. Ho, ho, ho." The giant laughed an ugly laugh. Jack thought, "He'll kill me if I do. He'll kill me if I don't. There's only one way to get out of this." Jack cleared his throat and then began his story. Once upon a time there was a giant. The giant squeezed Jack and said, "Tell me a better story, or I will grind your bones to make my bread. And when your story is finished, I will grind your bones to make my bread anyway. Oh, ho, ho." The giant laughed an ugly laugh. Jack thought, "He'll kill me if I do. He'll kill me if I don't. There's only one way to get out of this." Jack cleared his throat and then began his story. Once upon a time there was a giant. The giant squeezed Jack and said, "Tell me a better story, or I will grind your bones to make my bread. And when your story is finished, I will grind your bones to make my bread anyway. Ho, ho, ho." The giant laughed an ugly laugh. Jack thought, "He'll kill me if I do. He'll kill me if I don't. There's only one way to get out of this." Jack cleared his throat and then began his story. Once upon a time there was a giant. The giant squeezed Jack and said, "Tell me a better story, and I will grind my bones to make my bread. When your story is finished, I will grind your bones to make my bread anyhow. Ho, ho, ho." You guys get what's going on here, right? Of course, Jack's just telling his story over and over and over and over so that the giant never kills him. Okay, let's find out who's next. Cinder Rumpelstiltskin, or the girl who really blew it. Once upon a time there was a beautiful girl named Cinderella who lived with her wicked stepmother and 2 ugly stepsisters. These step-relatives were not only wicked and ugly, they also made Cinderella clean the house every day. One day the local prince announced that he was holding a fabulous ball at the castle. Everyone was invited. The stepmother and stepsisters all got dressed up to go, but as usual, they made Cinderella clean the house. So she didn't have time to get ready. After her stepmother and stepsisters left for the ball, Cinderella sat down and began to cry. But just then a little man appeared. "Please don't cry," he said. "I can help you spin straw into gold." "I don't think that will do me much good," said Cinderella. "I need a fancy dress, glass slippers, and a coach." "Would you like to try to guess my name?" said the clever little man. Cinderella looked at him. "No, not really." "Come on, do you think it's Chester?" "If you don't have a dress, it doesn't really matter." "Oh, just guess my name, any name." "I'm not supposed to talk to strangers," said Cinderella. But then she closed the door and left the little man standing outside screaming, "Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin!" When the stepmother and stepsisters got home from the ball, Cinderella told them both about the strange little man. They still made her clean the house, and meaner still, they changed her name to Cindel Rumpelstiltskin. The end. The Tortoise and the Hare. I'm pretty sure this will be our last story today, and we'll stop after this. Once upon a time there was a tortoise who was very slow but dependable. He would always get where he set out to go. It just took him longer than most people. One day Rabbit saw Tortoise slowly but surely walking down the road and said, "Tortoise, you are so slow I could probably grow hair faster than you run." "Oh, yeah?" said Tortoise slowly. "Yeah," said Rabbit. So they decided to race. On the day of the big race, Tortoise and Rabbit lined up at the starting line. Owl said, "On your mark, get set, grow!" Tortoise started to run. Rabbit started to grow his hair. Tortoise ran, Rabbit grew 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 his hair. Tortoise is still running. Rabbit is still growing his hair. Not the end. So I really love the ending of this story because it's so different from so many other fairy tales that end with the end. They specifically say not the end. So it like leaves you with the idea that this is still happening somewhere. Tortoise is still running and Rabbit is still growing his hair, and we can see Rabbit's hair growing all over the page here. And in the next video, we'll start with the Stinky Cheese Man. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Don't forget there's links down below in the video if you want to see the first part and then to find the next part after this. See you next time.